Texoma's #1 rated newscast, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 10 p.m.
A local woman accused of ripping off her boss for more than $100 grand. The second chance the company says she didn't take. And fires on both sides of the Red River prompting warnings and action. What's causing them and what's being done to stop it. And a gold ball coming home to Texoma tonight. How long it's been since a Grayson County team won a championship. Welcome to News 12 at 10. I'm Dan Thomas. Maureen has the night off. Well, the Gunter Tigers have been perfect this year, 15-0. Tonight, they played at State, looking for their first championship in school history. David Reed is on the sports desk. David, Gunter firmly in control of this one.
To say the least, Dan, it's been a while, since a Grayson County team won a state championship. You have to go back to 1984 when the Denison Yellow Jackets raised the gold ball. Tonight, the Gunter Tigers were determined to reset the clock. Gunter taking on bowling for the 3A Division II title. It was 14-0 Gunter in the second. Colson Stovall takes it in from 5 yards out. His second score of the night. Gunter is up by 3 touchdowns. But this may have been the biggest play of the night. Bowling had scored on an 80-yard return to get back into it, but Gunter goes right back down the field and answers. Stovall, his third TD of the night. Gunter up 22 at the break. Third quarter, Stovall again. This his fourth touchdown of the evening. What a great memory he's going to have of this game. Gunter blows out bowling 43-7. They win the state championship in 3A Division II. It's the first state championship in school history. So, Dan, what a night for Gunter. Of course, we will have a lot more on this huge night for the Tigers, including complete post-game reaction coming up later in sports.
All right, can't wait to see that. What a great game to watch. Thanks, David. Well, they were playing inside there, probably a good thing. We're looking for a big warm-up tomorrow, and it's already started apparently tonight. Steve, is that right?
That's right, Dan. In fact, it's warmer now than it was at supper time. Many areas have been slowly warming. Watch the temperatures starting at 5 o'clock. We've seen them slowly climb by several degrees, and that's because of a strong southerly wind that's kicking in. It's going to be a chilly night, but there's no threat of any kind of freezing precip. We'll have some occasional mist. It'll be well above freezing, and that steady wind feeding in from the southeast at 10 to 15. We'll start to see gusts higher and higher overnight. It'll be quite windy tomorrow. Also, skies are overcast, so that formula doesn't spell any cooling. 42 in the morning with some drizzle. Really windy tomorrow. Gusts to 40 miles per hour, and yes, some spots will be pushing 70 degrees. We'll talk about that Arctic front. It's still in the forecast when I come back.
All right, can't shake that one. Thanks, Steve. All right, a Pottsboro woman arrested for stealing nearly $124,000 from a fishing guide service. News 12's Alexis Dominguez explains how the company says they were taken advantage of after giving her a second chance.
Striper Express has been on Lake Texoma for 33 years. They've got 7 boats and 10 employees, doing over 1,000 fishing charters a year. But despite all that business, they're in trouble.
We are broke, and now we're going into the off season, but just the serious fishermen come out in January and February.
Christina Moody was hired as secretary in February of last year. Court documents state Moody was caught forging checks, adding up to nearly $54,000 just months after getting hired. But the company decided not to press charges. She was a close family friend, and they felt they could trust her.
We gave her a chance to make restitution.
But just 6 months later, the company owner contacted the sheriff's office.
He received a telephone call from a business owner. An employee at his business had changed the account information to be deposited into her own account instead of his account.
Court records state Moody had transferred about $69,000.
It is heartbreaking. It is just beyond my conception.
The company representative says they're looking to get a loan to make ends meet, but they say it's going to be a struggle. Moody faces up to 20 years in prison. In Pottsboro, Alexis Dominguez, News 12.
Well, the Southern Oklahoma Police Department's warning locals about an increase in car burglaries. Medill police say they've received 3 incidents in the last 2 days. Police say these burglaries are not only taking purses, burglars are not only taking purses and other items, but Christmas presents too. Police say to make sure that your car doors are locked and hide those valuables. Well, Sherman police say 2 men are in jail after stealing a motorcycle early this morning. Victim told police he had a tracking device on the bike. Deputies did track it down to Highway 56 near South Main. Say it was being pulled on a trailer behind a pickup. When officers stopped that driver, the passenger got out and ran. He was found, though, minutes later, hiding in some bushes. Both men in that pickup were taken into custody without incident.
I don't know if the victim and the suspects are connected of any kind, but at this point, that's part of the investigation.
Well, the driver, James Monk, is in jail for theft. The passenger, James Thompson, is facing charges for evading arrest and theft. Police say the victim did get that motorcycle back. Well, recently, vacant homes have made up about half of the fires in Sherman. News 12's Abby Maynard's live in the studio. Now, Abby, how's the city trying to bring that number down?
Dan, the city is now working to tear the structures down so this doesn't happen. Abandoned homes going up in flames. Usually vacant homes make up about 1 in 5 calls to the Sherman Fire Department, but in the last month, it's been the majority.
People are going around and either accidentally or are intending to start fires in these vacant properties.
A historic community with homes dating back more than a century, but that comes with a cost.
The substandard structures are a problem not only because they don't meet city code, they're a problem because they can become a nuisance. They can attract animals, they can attract homeless people, they can attract people looking to cause trouble.
Part of it has to do with the time of year. Part of it, you got people moving around looking for a place to get warm. If that's, is actually the cause, or just the dry conditions or extra wet conditions.
But cause aside, the fire marshal says these homes pose a risk for firefighters that could be prevented.
Our concern is for the firefighters. The structures they will burn rapidly when they're not occupied.
But now more than 20 dilapidated homes in the city, like the one behind me, have gone from this to this, completely torn down, all because of Sherman's substandard structure program.
We'll take the house down at our cost. You keep your property, and we can all encourage redevelopment together.
The program started about a year ago, but with the amount of recent abandoned structure fires, the city says they are pushing it even more, finding homes without city water services and contacting the owners.
When we come and say, hey, let's tear this substandard structure down, they get to say, at the end of the day, I get a nice, clean, empty lot to build on.
But it's more than an empty lot for firefighters. It's something the Sherman Fire Marshal sees as a step to help put this to an end.
The city is planning to tear down at least 5 more vacant homes in the next few weeks. If you know of one, give them a call. Live in the studio, Abby Maynard, News 12.
All right, thanks, Abby. Well, a space heater being blamed for a fire that's left one person homeless in Ardmore happened around 5:30 last night near Isabel and 10th Avenue. It appears to have started in the living room, and firefighters kept it from spreading to the rest of the house. The fire department says there's about $20,000 to $30,000 worth of damage. No one was injured. And a second house fire in Ardmore has destroyed both bedrooms of a home and damaged the living room. Firefighters say that they arrived shortly to the home in the 700 block of Carter South East around 4:30 today. The fire was under control 20 minutes later. Both bedrooms in the 2-bedroom home were badly damaged, with slight damage to the living room. The single person that lived there was away at the time and uninjured. The cause of that fire is still being investigated. And firefighters say during the winter months, space heater fires aren't uncommon. With a freeze coming this weekend, News 12's Andrew Freeman tells us why you need to be careful when using those devices.
A report by the National Fire Protection Association says while only 32% of home heating fires involve space heaters, they are involved in 79% of home heating fire deaths. This one in Ardmore on Tuesday did $30,000 in damage, but far from the worst Ardmore fire has dealt with.
Unfortunately, this time of year when we have cold snaps, we get a couple of space heater fires a year, and we've even, in the last several years, had a space heater fatality fire, so they're fairly serious.
In fact, in a controlled demonstration with firefighters, this blanket caught fire in about an hour. Something that has one mother worried. Her son just bought one.
In the winter, a lot of people's homes are not efficient, and he lives in a mobile home, so he definitely has a space heater. But it really concerns me because one wrong move and the whole mobile home could go up, or anyone's home. So there are definitely something that you really need to be careful about.
David Britton's pest control company uses space heaters in their vehicles to keep the equipment warm.
I think they're useful if they're used right. We've learned not to use them with the electric cords, plug them straight into the wall socket.
We got a cold snap coming up this weekend, and people need to be prepared for that. And again, if you're going to use a space heater, make sure you keep it away from combustibles and make sure that you don't use an extension cord and that it's plugged into a circuit that's rated for the space heater.
In Ardmore, Andrew Freeman, News 12.
All right, got to be careful out there, folks. Well, the survivor of the Charleston church massacre reacts to the gunman's conviction. What his attorney said about his motivation. And we're live at AT&T Stadium, where the Gunner Tigers have won their first state title game. How it all went down.
And it's tough.